Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the on-campus employment session titled Effective Onboarding Steps for a Successful On-Campus Working Experience. If anybody cannot hear me, please let me know. This session is being recorded for future references, and we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Andrea Siouris, and I have a master's in education. And I handle all the I-9 onboarding process for international students, scholars, any international visitor when they get hired from their department. In order to be eligible to work and get paid, they have to complete what is called an I-9 onboarding steps, and that they come through me. So I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation that I'm sharing with you guys on the screen. And this also will be available through our UC's website. And an email will probably go out to you all as to where it's going to be located later. Okay. So I'm going to go through the PowerPoint presentation for you, and then in the end, we will take any questions or anything or suggestions, something like that, and I'll be happy to help you and answer them. So welcome again to the Effective I-9 Onboarding Steps for Successful On-Campus Employment. And this is me and my email if you have any questions afterwards. So you have arrived to UC, welcome, and you are either receiving a GA, a TA, a RA, or you got a student campus position, a bookstore, at the library, in your department, office desk, anywhere on campus employment would be considered. And that's including West Campus and East Campus, as well as Claremont College or UC Blue Ash. They're all part of UC on-campus employment. So congratulations on getting a job. If you found a job, once you do, this guide here will help you step by step on what to do next on how to get onboarded. And just to backtrack a little bit, if you are looking for an on-campus employment position, Human Resources at UC provides all the job listings for all student positions. So if you're interested in finding work on campus, once you're settled with your studies and you are done with your quarantine, 14-day quarantine or 10-day quarantine, you can definitely start looking for positions on campus. And this guide will kind of give you a heads up on what you need to do. So for those who have a job, either a TA or an RA or a GA, or you already have a on-campus position for departments that are open for face-to-face interaction, when a student arrives in the US, they will go through their hiring process with their department. When the department completes their hiring process, they're going to receive what it looks like an email that looks like this. It's from the University of Cincinnati, from Human Resources, and it's titled Welcome to the University of Cincinnati or Welcome to UC. And in this email, it comes from Human Resources directly. So it is very important that you read the email and follow all its steps. Now, this email includes everybody, domestic and international students. But you are aware and you know that you're an international student, so you must also follow the international steps that are at the bottom of this email. So there's basically two parts of the Welcome to UC email. You have to do your new employee hire information through the Success Master system, complete what's required from Human Resources, and then at the bottom where you see here, it says international hires. Please click on the on-campus link found at the site below for additional support. This is very important that you click on this because it'll take you to this guide that I'm going to be showing you in the next couple slides to help you complete the process, okay? Just doing the HR side of things, human resources side of things, does not officially complete your onboarding process, okay? So basically the email is going to, again, mention that there's some forms that you need to complete through the new employer link, and it's called Success Factor. You're going to log in. It's going to ask you to set up a password and a username, which you can use your UC or something else if you want to indicate. And then it's going to ask you, once you submit everything and complete it, it's going to ask you to send certain documents to Human Resources. Okay. Now, as an international employee, they're going to give you options as to what documents. For UC employees, for international employees, you're going to be submitting proof of your I-20, your I-94 card, your visa, and your I-20, because you're not going to have most likely a driver's license or a social security card if this is your first visit into the US. But I'll go more into that a little bit later. And then what you want to do is follow the link at the bottom where it says, click on this PDF for some additional information. And there is going to bring up this wonderful, congratulations on getting your on-campus job at UC. Okay. And you have to be in the United States in order to get onboarded. The government, as well as the Social Security office, will not issue a Social Security card, nor can you begin working and complete the I-9 onboarding process from outside the US. In addition to that, you also are required to have your I-94 card, and the most recent one. So when you enter the US, you're going to get an I-94 document, which you're already aware of, because most of you have already submitted through your pre-arrival checklist. That document is a proof of entry into the US and that you are here, and a number is assigned to you. So after you receive your offer from your department, from any employer within UC campus, you're going to need to wait for the process of confirmation. And again, your department should tell you that they have completed their hiring side of things, and then you should be waiting for the Welcome to UC email. As soon as you get that Welcome to UC email from Human Resources, and you follow the steps that's required to complete their part of the initiation of the employment process, then what you need to do is complete the online forms. These are the electronic I-9 forms, like I said, that you will get under the new employee link from the Welcome to UC email. There are some sections on there that students may get a little bit confused as to how to complete. This is why this guide is important, that you read it carefully and then you use the examples that pertain to your case to complete these forms. It makes it a lot easier, trust me, and you do it correctly. So under the biographical information of the I-9 form, it always, it'll ask you to fill in like your social security number, your first name, your last name. Always remember that your first name and your last name has to match passport, because this could create issues for you later on when you try to apply for the social security number. We do have some students in some cases that do not have a surname or a last name. In that case, the government and Social Security requires that you put your first name in the last name field. And then in the first name field, you would put FNU, which is first name unknown. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's how they want it done. So, and this also instructions are provided to you when you complete everything, and then we send you the email for final processing of the Social Security card. And I remind you how to enter your name again. Okay, so if you do not have a Social Security number, and most of you will not because you're new, you're just going to put, there's a section that you can select. This is applied for. So always select the applied for, and the system will allow you to continue on and complete the rest of the forms. Students are allowed to work while their Social Security card is pending, so that's okay. Okay. The address. When you complete your address, it is very important that you follow the US format. And always the US format, like the example here with Bearcat Joe. You're going to have your street number, your street name, and then your apartment. And then the city is Cincinnati, state Ohio, and then your zip code. This is a format that is very important that you follow, because with the United States Postal Service, if it does not match, they will not forward the mail, and it could get lost in the mail. And then you got to go through this whole process again. And it's not fun, obviously. And it also delays your process on things. So very important that you look at that and you follow that example. But obviously don't put Bearcat Joe because that's not your address. Put your address. This is just an example. All right. So when you get to the I-9 form, the I-9 form is the employment form where you have to submit proof of employment. And for an F1 student or a J1 student, it'll be your I-20, your DS-2019, passport, your visa, and your I-94 document. These are the 4 documents that we require. All right. So on that form, it's going to ask you your citizenship status. And there's 4 options. Either you're a U.S. citizen, you're a non-citizen national of the United States, you're a lawful permanent resident, or an alien authorized to work. You, as an F1 student, if you do not have a citizenship, permanent residency, or you're a non-citizen, I know that can be a little bit confusing. You're not going to choose those 3 top options. You're actually going to choose an alien authorized to work until, and this is the important part, you're only permitted to work until the end date of your I-20 or your DS-2019, not your visa, not your passport. These are not employment authorization documents. We use these documents to verify your status, but your actual employment authorization end date is the date on your I-20 or your DS-2019, because that's what's telling the U.S. government and the Security Office that you're here as a student until this date. Okay, so please make sure you put the end date of your I-20 or your DS-2019. The next question will be your visa type. Again, you're an F1 or you're a J1. So you would select F1 or J1. You're in order to verify your employment and your immigration status, you're going to choose, sorry about that, you're going to choose option list A, which will be your foreign passport, your I-94, and or your I-20. The visa is not really required because you don't have to enter information on the electronic I-9, but we just need a copy of that. And then it's going to ask you, another question is that students sometimes don't know how to answer is, did you need to prepare for a translator or anything like that? Just put no, because we verify your documents and we have good faith that you guys speak great English, so we don't have to worry about that, okay? But go ahead and just put no, and then we will help confirm everything when you submit all these documents to us. The next question or the next form you're going to get on the electronic I-9 is the tax form, which is a W-4. That can also sometimes get confusing for students. Don't worry, we tell you how to answer that basically, okay? So we always tell for students who are new and have been in the US for less than 5 years that you should always answer single, not married, okay? Because that helps with the tax, with your taxes later on. The next question would be number of allowances, okay? You should always put 0 or 1 because it's just for you. If you're here in the US for less than 5 years and you even if you were married or even if you had kids, you're not allowed to use them as dependents. So it's always going to be single and 0 to or 1 allowances, either 0 for basically you or 1 for you. We always recommend 1, but you know, it's that's the safest route. Please understand that no one is exempt from taxes in the United States. Even international employees, we all have to pay taxes. However, international employees have certain tax treaty benefits. And the system, when you file your taxes every year for the previous year, the system that you're going to use to file your taxes will be able to calculate, and you will get your tax returns, most of it back. Okay, so don't worry about that. But you will notice in your paycheck every month or every 2 weeks how often you're going to be paid. You will get a taxes deduction, and that is normal. We all have to pay it. But for you as an international employee, you'll get most of that back when you file your taxes next year for 2021. Okay. And again, make sure you put no additional withholdings, and then you're not exempt from taxes, okay? So next it's going to ask you to go through the SSA. form and the OPERS form, which is the Ohio Ethics, and the receipt of Auditor of State fraud reporting system. These are just some general documents that every employee has to read and then just sign off on, and then just make sure that you understand what they're saying. Once you complete the electronic I-9 forms, which is the first step, the second step, then you're going to log into your iBearcats global record, and you're going to request the remote I-9 onboarding e-form. Now, depending on if you're working for on campus and you're receiving a UC paycheck, which most of you will be, but there's also one that is on campus employment for non-UC employers. So basically for employment onboarding request e-form for UC paycheck, that would be for all TAs, GAs, RAs, working for the library, working for any UC department that's on campus. However, if you're going to work for Follett, the UC bookstore, or if you're going to work for Airmark for any of the restaurants on campus, or if you're going to work on East Campus for any of the restaurants, these would be considered the non-UC employer, basically, or employee, because they issue their own paycheck. However, since they are on campus, you are eligible to work for that, okay? So make sure you know which e-form to complete as you go through your options. Once you complete one of these e-forms, they come to me. I review them with the documents that you have uploaded. Basically, for the individuals who are going to be working for UC, you're going to be required to upload a couple things. Your passport biographical page, which is your picture page that provides us with your picture and the expiration dates and the passport number. Your I-20, and you just need to upload the first page of the I-20 and the second page of the I-20. We don't need the third because those are just immigration rules that we already know, and you should hopefully know them as well. Then we will need a copy of your visa, your I-94 document, and just the first page of the I-94 that has your I-94 number, your name, the duration of status, expiration, which is D/S. So that's the only page we would need. And the other thing we will need is the OPERS, the Ohio Retirement Plan. So but just a little bit about that is quite simple. Basically, it's a one-page sheet. You just fill out the top portion, which is step one. If you don't have a social security number, leave it blank. So that's how it should be. Your phone number, your employer ID number on that page. Let me see if I have a picture of this so I can show you. Oh, yes, it's down here. So you can see kind of like how it looks. You would just fill out the top portion here and you need to sign it. Please note that the signature needs to be your signature, not some kind of font from a PDF from the Word document, okay? So you would put your first name, your last name, your UC email, and then the employer is always going to be University of Cincinnati, okay? And please note that every box should have a letter. Now, I know sometimes students have larger names, longer names. You can always abbreviate, you know, the middle names and things like that. But make sure your first name and your last name is always printed out, okay? And then you would sign it and date it. And if you have been in the US before and you found a job and you do all this, if you do have a social security card, you do need to upload that as well. But that is only required if you already have one, and that we will need it in order to get you started into the payroll system. Okay, so that's what the OPERS forms look like. And then also basically the first couple pages, it kind of tells you what it's all about. Okay, so that's fairly easy on that part. The OPERS is basically a retirement plan. And a lot of international students, actually 99.9% of them, waive it because it doesn't apply to you. That's if you retire down 30, 40, 30 years down the road or 20 years down the road. A lot of people don't stay in Cincinnati, or they don't stay in an educational environment, which is what this OPERS is for. So they don't want to contribute to it because they're not going to be here. And the only way that you'll get that money back is after you graduate, and human resources will have to help you get the refunds. So keep that in mind with your planning, because a lot of students, like I said, do not choose OPERS since they don't know what's going to be their future plans. Okay. once you complete that and I get the e-form and I review all your immigration documents that are listed, I'm going to go into the system, onboard you, get everything taken care of for you, and then I will send you a confirmation email. And basically that email is going to be two types of emails. Either one that you do have a social security number, and it'll provide you with just some general information about you can begin working now. We have your social security card. We've processed it with human resources, and nothing else is needed from you. Okay. The second email, which is the majority of the emails that I really send out, is the one that is with not a social security number. So a couple things about that step. You're going to get an email that says, we have onboarded you. You're all done. You can begin working on the start date of your employment, which you should know hopefully from your hiring department. And I also indicated on the confirmation email. Students are permitted to work up to 30 days from their employment start date without a social security number. So what that means is, let's say you're supposed to start January 11th, right? So we onboarded you this week, let's say, but you don't actually start until January 11th. So from January 12th, count 30 days up. You have that many days to apply for the social security number, get it in the mail, and then send me a copy, as my instructions will also say on the confirmation email. Okay. So it's very important that if you get that email or any email from our office in general, that you read it very carefully. And if you have questions, you should always email me. The main thing to understand is that, yes, you can be working on your start date as long as you have completed onboarding with me and you get this confirmation email. And you can work up to 30 days. Now, keep in mind, the Social Security office is very busy, and there's one downtown. And due to the COVID restrictions, they're only doing appointments and they're spacing them out. So you cannot go downtown. You have to call them and make the appointment. They will instruct you what you need to bring with them and when and where to report. Now, I have all that information that I do provide it to you on your confirmation email, in addition to an employment letter that I generate for you. So when you get my confirmation email, you're going to get a couple things. You're going to get the employment letter that says you are going to be working for UC in this specific department, starting at this date. Your supervisor's name is this, and that you need to begin working. So please issue the Social Security card to the student. You'll have that letter. You'll have a Social Security application. It's about 4 to 5 pages, but don't worry. It's only one page that you have to fill out. The first couple of pages are instructions. So it's basically general information, your name, your first name, your last name. Again, make sure you fill it out how it's your passport, or if you don't have a last name, but you have a first name goes into the last name field. And on the first name, you put F and U, first name unknown. Okay. And that is also explained on the email I'll send you, the confirmation email. And you can skip. There's questions about, if your parents have ever received a Social Security number, like if you look at it right here, it's a simple application. You fill out your first name, your last name. If you have any other names that you use, you can put them in there. You can put your place of birth. If obviously you've never been issued a Social Security number, so you would leave that. I can't see if it says blank or no, but just leave that blank or put no. Your place of birth, your date of birth, your citizenship, you're always going to select legal alien allowed to work. Obviously, you're not going to choose U.S. citizen, and you're not going to choose not allowed to work because you are allowed to work. So make sure you pick the second one, legal alien allowed to work. Your ethnicity, your race, your sex, male or female. Let's see. And then 9 and 10, leave that blank if you don't know. And even if you thought they might have had one, but you don't know, just leave them blank. It's okay. It doesn't affect your process. Okay. You can ignore number 11, number 12, number 13. Basically, you can leave those blank. Today's date, the date you fill out the form, your phone number. Your mailing address, again, very, very, very important on this, because the Social Security office, when you go to apply for your Social Security number, once you meet with them, it is very important that your mailing address, again, reads exactly how it should be in the US standards. Obviously, they have your name at the top. It's going to be your street, house number, the street name, your apartment, Cincinnati, Ohio, or maybe, Florence, Kentucky. Just make sure you have it written correctly and clearly. And your name also must be very clear, because they use this application to create your Social Security card. And if there's a mistake on the name, because maybe they can't see, because maybe the I looks like an L and they accidentally do that, well, unfortunately, if there's a mistake, you're going to have to reapply again. You'll keep the same number, but if the name has to match your Social Security card for future employment positions. So try to avoid that issue. So make sure that everything is clear, print nicely, print clearly, so there won't be any issues in the future when you get the card, okay? And then number 17, just sign it. And that's it. The bottom part, you leave it blank, because that's handled by the Social Security office, okay? So it's a very simple application process. The first couple pages of that application process can look confusing, but it's just instructions on how to fill out the form. And I've basically provided to you basically how to fill it out. It's quite easy. So once you receive my confirmation email, that's pretty much it. The final steps would be to apply for your social, as I've mentioned. And when you do receive the Social Security card, it is very important, extremely important, that you send me a copy of that Social Security card, because I have to submit it to Human Resources, and also I have to enter it into your SuccessFactors record. Otherwise, without a Social Security number, after 30 days, you're not going to get paid. So, and obviously you don't want that. You want to get paid because you put your work hours into the department, right? So it's very important. Now, don't worry. I do send out emails after 2 weeks of your initial start date and application. So you'll receive an email from me probably in the next 2 weeks after you on board to remind you, hey, don't forget, you're going to send me your Social Security card. And I will continue to do that then at least once a week after the 2 week period, just to remind you. So my emails may get annoying, but that's okay. I'm doing it because I'm looking out for you, because I know as students, you have a lot of things to do with your classes and, with the COVID situation. So if I can help a little bit by just sending you out reminders, I'll do that. Okay. And if you have any questions during this process, you can always email me. My email is down at the bottom, or you can always call, but I prefer to respond via email, because I'm always busy. I'm always onboarding students and scholars and visitors, and I don't always answer the phone right away. So that's because I'm in the middle of onboarding somebody, and the system can time me out, and I cannot, put that on hold and answer a phone. So honestly, the best way to reach me is via email. And I respond within an hour, 20 minutes if I'm not busy, or it's definitely within the same day though that I respond, okay? So don't worry. Let's see, what else can I provide you? What other insightful information? It's always important to just be patient, in my opinion, in what I recommend is, because this process does take time, and, departments have to hire their employees, and they also have a lot of employees that are probably hiring. And don't get discouraged if there are no positions, that you can't find any student jobs. The university is closed due to COVID. Some departments are open, but some are not. And, on-campus employment may not be as easy as it was previous years, but you can always be looking on that student job site under the Human Resources website, and maybe something will pop up for you. But, I always encourage to keep checking that once a week, because you never know, something may open up. Okay. And with the Social Security, please be patient with them. There's one office downtown, and there are a federal government office, and they operate with the rules and regulations of the government. So, you know, it does happen. You just have to be patient. The welcome to UC is the primary indicator that you have been hired. If you did not get a welcome to UC email, that means your department has not completed your hiring process. So the next step would be is to contact them. Contact your hiring department, your supervisor or your GA supervisor, or the employer that's hired you for, like if it's, for example, Airmark for any of the restaurants on campus, you would have to contact that restaurant to find out why, if you haven't not been hired. Now, let me take that back. The restaurants, you do not get a welcome to UC email. That is only for UC paycheck students and employees, okay? So if you're asking about the welcome to UC email as a UC paycheck employee, again, you have to contact your hiring department to find out why you haven't received it, and that please double check my hiring process through UC Flex and SuccessFactor. Because departments have to hire you and input you in two different databases. One is called the UC Flex, and the other one is called SuccessFactor. So they have to do those two steps first, and within 24 hours, probably less than 24 hours, you should get that welcome to UC email. If they've been told that you were hired and you haven't gotten the welcome to UC email, you just need to contact your department, and then they should contact human resources to make sure there was no glitch or anything in the system, because that email comes from human resources, not from our office. Okay. So let me see if there's anything else I can input. It's just a long process. Sometimes it can take a couple of weeks. You know, students are always like, well, I submitted everything and I still haven't gotten my confirmation from UC International. Well, just keep in mind that I'm the only one that does the onboarding during the beginning of each semester, and it could be anywhere from 100 to 300 people that I could be onboarding in about a month and a half. So be patient. Everybody gets onboarded within, you know, a week or 2 week period. So it does get done as long as the employees submit and provide everything that's required. We cannot do the I-9 onboarding process until everything has been done through your department, through yourself, and then to us. So that is always important to remember, okay? And I process everything as they come in. We've had students that we're supposed to start January 4th. Well, we're still working on the January 4th employees, and we have a lot starting on Monday. So it's going to be a very busy time for our office and for me, but I promise you it does get done within a week or two. So just hang in there, get me what I need, and I'll make sure that you're onboarded and you can begin working as soon as you complete your onboarding. Departments are aware of this. They know that international students, you know, have to arrive to the US, take care of everything they have to take care of in addition to their onboarding. So they understand that, you know, it's not going to happen quickly and overnight. Okay. So just hang in there, be patient. And I promise you, you will be able to begin working as soon as we can complete your onboarding process. Okay. So that's my piece of the I-9 onboarding process. I'm going to open it up to questions now. And if you have any input, any information that you would like to share, go ahead and unmute your microphone, and just one person at a time if we can do this so it doesn't create any interference or anything like that, okay? So again, thank you and welcome to the University of Cincinnati. I hope you have a wonderful, successful semester, even though I know you're quarantining, probably some of you, and you're also doing a lot of classes online. So I know it's not going to be an easy transition, but you can do it. Stay in touch with our office, stay in touch with our iPals, because I know they're very helpful. And if you need anything regarding international immigration like that, please contact our office, and one of our immigration advisors will be happy to assist you. If you have questions about onboarding, you can email me directly and I will get to you as soon as I can, I promise. Okay. So let's open up with some questions. I know I saw some things coming in through chat, so give me a minute here to try to see if we can get if I can get some of the answers for you. So the I-9 is not for off-campus employment. International students under the F-1 immigration status are not permitted to work off campus. Please make sure you read your student handbook and understand those regulations. It is a violation of your immigration status if you work off campus. You cannot work at Pinera. You cannot work at Du Bois Bookstore or any Indian restaurant or any Chinese restaurant or any grocery store that's out there. Please note that is a violation, and it is monitored if you get paid. Even if without a social security number, you will not get a social security number if you get a job off campus because they were not going to authorize it, and we will not issue an employment letter. And if the letter does not come from me directly, because I have contacts over at the Social Security Administration office, they will not issue the card and they will notify me. So please make sure you follow the regulations. As off-campus employment, meaning outside of the campus, you're not permitted. You can only work within the campus entities, okay? I hope that answered your question. Swathi? All right. So human resources, how do you contact human resources? You just send them an email, under, if you go to the UC's website, let me see if I can get that for you and I'll send it over through the chat. Okay, just a second. Let's see if I can find my internet here. So I believe you have to, in order to access human resources, you have to log in with your UC email and your UC ID login, okay? So, but if you do a human resources search, you'll go under human resources and under student employment, you click on that, and it'll provide you with some information, some questions and stuff like that. But then their email is down here. Their phone number is right here. You see it? And then you can, you should have their email address. Anyway, you can find their information on this website. What I recommend is either first emailing human resource, because that is the best way, the quickest way they'll get in touch with you, okay? Let's see. How can we get this letter? I'm already in the US and completed my quarantine data. You're not going to get this letter until after you complete your hiring process. A social security number will not be issued to anyone unless you have proof of employment. And the way to get proof of employment is by following the I-9 instructions. You have to be hired by a department within UC. If you're not hired within a department at UC as an F1 and you do not have a co-op requirement, you will not get a social security number, unfortunately. Social security numbers are not required to open a bank account or to get a phone or anything like that. They use your passport. Everybody in the city of Cincinnati is aware of this. So please keep in mind, a social security number will not be issued to anyone unless they have campus employment. Okay? Let's see here. What else do we got? How can I get this letter? All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Sunga. I have a question because looking at the chat, and that's a problem that I'm having as well. So looking at the chat, it looks like a lot of us haven't gotten the welcome to UC email.
Have gotten it or have not? Sorry.
Not gotten the welcome to UC email. And I know that according to you, according to the process, not you, it's because our departments haven't completed that. But could they be another problem, as that seems as a common thing for all of us, for
Uh,
most of us?
it's the department, unfortunately. It could be because maybe we were closed for the whole Christmas and New Year's, and departments did not complete their hiring process. So the best thing that I can, because I've had quite a few new GAs, especially that their departments did not complete their hiring process in UC Flex and Success Factor. So I send emails. If you submitted a new GA email and I verified in the system that you're not in a Success Factor or UC Flex, then I send an email and I copy the department that says, hey, you have not been hired and you have not completed the Success Factor electronic forms. So the best thing that I can offer is that you have to get on them, especially if you're getting a GA. They have to do this process. We cannot do it, neither can HR. So it has to come from the department where they have to initiate your hiring process. Now, they could be busy as well. Who knows what their delay is? Unfortunately, it is how it's happening now with COVID and everything. Everything is taking longer than usual. So be patient. If you've contacted them, if you haven't heard anything within a couple of days regarding your employment, follow up with them again. If they're stuck and they're not sure how to do the process, they need to contact human resources, because human resources helps departments initiate or help them start the hiring process if they've never hired somebody. Now, which department are you with? Do you know?
Political science.
Yeah, they know. They've hired people. I've seen them coming through slowly. I've seen some come from political science, but they're coming in slowly. Do you know who the supervisor said? No, it's not Rob Aroki.
So we're at Taft, the Taft Research Center, but then we're hired under political science. But
Are you getting a scholarship?
from Taft, a graduate assistantship.
Is the paycheck coming from UC or from Taft?
So it's coming from Taft, but Taft explained that they get, so the whole thing has to be completed by political science department, but they just charge it to Taft.
Got it. So you're still going to get a UC paycheck. So yes. Again, who's your contact at political science? Do you know?
Yes. So right now we have two. The first one we haven't heard from, Eva Jane, or I don't know who it is. And the person that's doing it right now is Pamela, I think.
Pamela. Okay, I don't recognize that name. Do you have her last name? Maybe I'll know that. Pam Latham. Yes. I did. She did send me an email saying that she had a couple students that were that she was getting the process started. So be patient, hang in there, because I know she was out on a medical leave situation. And she's the one that does the hiring. So unfortunately, again, things happen, right? Unexpected things happen. So hang in there. I know she is working and doing her best to get political science GAs and TAs in the system. So you should hopefully get an email in the next day or so. They know, don't worry, it does not affect your position. You're not going to lose your position because, you're not being onboarded. It's due to their delay. So, you will be able to, begin working and get onboarded as soon as they complete everything and you complete everything. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, Pam she did communicate with me. She sent me an email with a couple of students. So you may have been one of them. Sorry, I've been dealing with like 50 students the last 5 days. So trying to remember everybody's kind of hard, but I know Pam has communicated with me that she's working on a few from political science. So I'm sure you'll be taken care of here in the next couple of days. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And we have the weekend. So, obviously, but we should have something for you by, you should have something by Monday or Tuesday, hopefully. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Sounds good.
You're welcome. Hang in there. I promise you'll get it. All right. So I know I saw quite a few questions here. So let's see. Let's see. Trying to go through all these here. So. I got that. So let me get you real quick again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you guys the link to my PDF so you have it. And I'm going to get you, and let me see, I should be able to put the link in here. So let me go copy it, guys. Give me a second, all right? My emails. Now you're seeing everything. But that's okay. Welcome to UC email. So let me see here. So the email that you're going to get is something like this. It's going to have a couple PDFs, okay? And if you guys can see it, can you see my screen?
We can see the screen.
Okay, great. So you're going to get something like this as I put it on the PDF, that PowerPoint that I have for you guys. I'm going to give that to you.
Actually, I can't see the screen. Is it same for everyone or?
You cannot
I'm
see
not
it?
sure.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Share content. Let me try this again. Here it is. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see.
Perfect. So this screen is also on the PowerPoint that we went through together. So I will give that to you guys here, and let's see, maybe I could have see how I can do that. But you'll see, like they explain everything due to COVID. Everything is done remotely. So HR has not changed their wording a little bit, like to call our office and make an appointment. Obviously, we don't do that. We don't do appointments anymore. It's all remotely. So as long as you submit your e-form and upload everything, and I review it, you're good to go. No appointment needs to be made, okay? So just keep in mind so you don't get confused, because one email from HR is going to say, call and make an appointment. And my email is going to say, you have completed after I review everything. So just remember that everything is remote due to COVID. So let's see. I think, see if I can copy this link here. And if I send it to you guys here, can you tell me if anybody can open it? Nope, it's not gonna work. All right, so that didn't work. Let's try another way. Let's try different. That did not work. It's HR. Nope. Where's my email? So. Trying to juggle things, Conversation. Did I lose you guys? There we go. Chat. Yeah, I know. Here we go. We got some screen. We got something. Yeah, I'm working on it, guys. Hang in there for a second. Let me see. Let me see if I can. Hang in there, guys. Janet, can you help me with maybe a little bit of this?
Yes. What do you need help with?
I want to get the PDF on there for the student handbook, and for some reason I'm not able to copy. Hold on.
Would you be able to upload it to OneDrive and then share the link?
Which drive? Sorry.
OneDrive, like just upload your PDF to OneDrive and then share the link to like everyone can access.
Where? This is gonna sound dumb, but where's the OneDrive?
It comes with your user email.
The email, you mean?
Yes, it comes with your account with your email, but
Okay.
let's see. You are not able to attach any documents here?
I was trying to and see. Like I have the PDF that I want to attach, and I was trying to copy the link, and for some reason, when I pull up the PDF, it won't let me like attach the link, which is really weird.
Yes.
Let me
Yes. I think you have to upload it to a shared drive first.
Okay. All right. So with the students, do you know if this is going to be, I know we're going to be able to upload this somewhere, right?
Right.
Will you, Lori, if I send it to you, will you, Lori, be able to do that?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So guys, hang in there. We're going to upload this PDF on our OneDrive so that you can have access to it, okay? That'll provide, I'll give you the whole PowerPoint so you'll have it, okay?
Yes, it will probably include these recording and also the everything that we talk about in the past session, this session. We will
Okay,
include
great.
the resources in the follow-up emails that will come in like 1 or 2 days. I'll make sure that
Okay.
we'll send that out. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, we'll do that. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any other questions or anything? I don't want to miss anybody if they had posted something here. No, you cannot try for off-campus employment, whoever is asking this question. You're not permitted to work off campus. Please remember that. Let's see. Swathi, you cannot work off campus. I don't know what you mean by off campus, but what the regulation states for an F1, you're only permitted to work on campus, meaning any employer or any department inside the University of Cincinnati, which includes Blue Ash, which includes Claremont and East Campus. You cannot work for Kingsgate Hotel. That's not a UC. Okay. You cannot work for Krishna Indian. You cannot work for any Chinese restaurants. You're not allowed. Please remember that. If you do, you're violating your status, and that could cause you to be terminated. So if you're referring to off-campus as such, Swathi, you're not permitted, okay? But you can work for restaurants on East Campus, at the UC Hospital, at the UC Medical Center, okay? Does that answer the question again on the off-campus side of things?
I have a question.
Yes.
I called the SSA office to schedule an appointment, but they asked me to wait. They said someone would contact me in the future.
Yes.
So, do you have any idea how long this process can be?
Unfortunately, I don't know. This is how they're doing it, unfortunately, due to COVID. And even though we say, I'm going to give you guys a little FYI insight here. I know we say 30 days, the SSN. However, with the situation in COVID, we let it go a little bit longer than that, okay? So if you don't get the Social Security card to me within 30 days, it's not the end of the world. We will still get you in the, you can still continue to work, but we have to have that Social Security within less than 60 days, around 60 days, okay? So just keep that in the back of your mind. But yeah, unfortunately with the Social Security office, since we do not have control of their process other than what they've told us to the information to provide to you guys. And if I sent you a confirmation already, it provides you their instructions. They will call you if you do not get a call from them, let's say in about 2 or 3 days. Call them back. That's the best advice I can offer at this point, because maybe they forgot, or because they have so many that they're processing and trying to schedule. It could delay them further, but I would give them at least 3 to 4 days before you call back. Okay. Not to hassle them too much because they may get annoyed, and unfortunately there's nothing we can do again, it's part of the government. They work how they work. So, but on our end, just, as long as you applied and at some point you make an appointment and you apply for the social, you're okay to continue working even after 30 days. Okay. Just make sure your application has your name and your address very clear, and that your name needs to be in your mailbox. The other thing we have discovered the last 6 months or so is that mailmen, if the name is not in your mailbox or showing on your mailbox, they will not leave the mail. So, and they do not forward it or return it. Okay. So please make sure that your name is always on the mailbox. Even if you're living with somebody and their name is on there, but if your name is not, they're not going to leave it. So maybe on the mailbox, put like whoever's living there, care of C-O, and then your name, or have your name somewhere in the mailbox so that they see it. Okay. Because that's another important point. All right. So in regards to the Social Security office timeline of applications and callbacks, give them a couple days before you call them back. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have a question, or if I missed something?
There's a question about I think most question is about on-campus jobs where they can find listing of it.
That's under their under the human resources campus employment. Remember when I pulled up the website? Now remember, you got to log in with your UC email and everything. So what you're going to have to do is go to human resources, go to student employment. Can you see my screen, or are you able to see what I'm sharing, guys?
I don't think so. You're sharing just the PDF.
Okay, hold on a second here. Can you see that now? Student employment.
Yes.
Okay. So this talks about a working at UC or work at UC. Do you see that up here? On the top right side next to contacts.
Yes.
If you click on that, it's moving slowly. So it'll give you information on how to apply. Okay. So Aramark would be considered the non-UC paycheck. Okay. It's not considered off campus. It's on campus, but it's not a UC paycheck. So you can work for Eastern Personnel, Aramark, Follett, these companies, okay? Because they're on UC campus, but they issue their own paycheck. So you would submit the employment eligibility e-form for a non-UC paycheck, okay? And then if you want to apply, you would click on this link right here, greater benefits application. Let me just go down real quick and see. Yeah, you would click here. And then you would follow the steps on how to apply, okay? And go to students. Do you see that right here? You click on students.
Yes.
And then see how it says you got to log in, student login? You got to log in with your student login credentials, okay? And that's how you will be able to find find a student position. Remember, as an F1, you're looking for student positions, you know, because that's what you're eligible to work. And employment is also discussed in your student handbook. So it's very important that you go back and that you read that information, okay, about student employment. Let's see here. Where's my go back up?
And I just put the link that Andrea showed us at the chat.
Okay.
If you
Okay,
want to
wonderful. Thank
add
you.
that to
Thank you.
it.
Thank you. Yes.
And
So,
then she asked question about Handshake. Handshake is a good way to find jobs, but like I would suggest a lot of companies that are recruiting students from Handshake are not on campus
they're not.
recruiters. Yeah.
You're only
So we better
permitted.
use the link here.
Sorry. You're only permitted to find student positions through the UC's website. That's the only way that you will be able to be hired. You have to follow the University of Cincinnati's student employment site. Okay. Right here. You got to go through UC's under students. That's how you got to go. Okay.
And Hasma asked, do we have work study eligibility?
That you'll need to work with your department because I don't handle that. If you have questions on the work study thing, I recommend contacting your department and then also sending an email to international.students@uc.edu, and an F1 immigration advisor will be able to provide any insight on work study. Okay. Usually work studies, you know, like I said, I'm not familiar with that program since I only handle students that are employed by UC through on campus. But please send an email to international.students, and one of our F1 immigration advisors will be able to answer that question for you. And also you can also ask your department. Okay. Does that help? Hopefully. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay. And I think there's, I'm sorry, I missed the meeting. Could you let me know where I can access the recording? Janet will be posting all that information through the OneDrive, okay? And that's where you can get the recording as well as the my presentation on there too. So I think we may have answered all the questions that everybody has been asking. If I'm correct, this is all I have. Thank you for participating for my seminar, and welcome to the University of Cincinnati. Good luck in your new semester. Stay safe, stay healthy, and if you need anything regarding immigration status or anything like that, please contact international students so that an F1 advisor can guide you properly. If you have on-campus employment questions and I-9 questions, you can email me directly and I will be happy to assist you as well. Okay? Anything else? Any final questions? All right, Janet, I think we are good to go.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for attending this. We'll get the information to you as soon as we can. Via email, you will for sure receive that through the newsletter that we send out every Tuesday. Make sure that you read that. And that's it.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend and a good Friday. Jenna, can you find him here?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's people.
Yeah, everyone's popping up, so we're good to go.
Okay. Do you want me to email you that PDFs, my PDF, so you have it?
Yeah. Send it to Lori. Yeah, send it to
Lori, let me
Lori, and
send
you
it to
can copy
Lori.
me.
Yeah. Let me send it to Lori, and then I'm assuming she'll give it to you guys or whatever you guys are going to do in regards to the drive and all that.
Right. Yeah.
So, all
Yeah, and
right.
also send your recordings link or whatever. I don't know what it will be to her as well.